So I'm a first-year realtor. I got to a point I got too busy to be able to like keep up with my work. Like what happened is 1 month I had so many transactions that when that month was over, the next month I found out like, oh shoot, I haven't been prospecting or right
That's what happens to me every time.
I was so like stuck in my paperwork, right? Like when you have that many transactions going, it's like
No kidding.
so then I always am learning, and one of the things it said is like to get to the next level, you have to be able to delegate some of your work. And so I was like, okay, I got to do this, even though it's hard to give up, the money or whatever for it. But it honestly has been the best thing. Terry is an eXp realtor. So she is just a complete whole second set of eyes on all my contracts. With a TC, I still write my own initial contract.
Some don't.
Pardon?
Some don't.
But from that point on, she takes care of pretty much all of my paperwork. So I'm on vacation, Terry can send it all out to my, so newer agents, it's probably hard still to like justify that. And I think when you're new, you should learn that.
Yeah.
So like somebody told me like do at least 10 transactions before you even consider hiring someone. Anyways, once she started working for me, she started doing all these things. And I'm like, oh, I never knew how to do that in CTME. Does that make sense? Or even Zach. Okay, so I work with an investor right here, right? I write a ton of contracts for them. Maybe do you want to click on it? Teresa McClure.
I gotta find her. Where are you? Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, she must have organized it because this would be like down to the.
Oh, yeah, I got, oh, yeah.
That's the thing, is once it goes on your.
Well, even the front page that we just looked at needs to be cleaned up, and we're gonna do one tonight.
These are listings that I've had with them. But anyways, where was I going with this? So every time I wrote a contract, I would write the entire contract. Zach and I meet for coffee every other week, right? He's like, you just press this button and it auto-fills it. Right?
Yeah.
Just change the address.
Just change the address, and I'm like, you got to, right? So like, I think my hope for today for everybody is like, hopefully you learned 1 or 2 things new that will help. This is like an open forum. Ask as many questions as you want, and we'll go from here. Terry?
Yeah, I operate on casual, so don't raise your hand. Just blurt it out. I don't care. Yeah, I've been in real estate for 8 years. I've been in several brokerages. I am so glad to be with eXp the last year and a half. It is just a blessing that this firm came along. I'm gonna go back out here.
You guys have said this like 10 times, but I heart copy. Capital I? No, all lowercase, no spaces.
Okay, so
Yes.
are you all relatively new to real estate? Well, I know you are. Okay, so that's good to know. So have you all taken at least the beginning class for CTM? Okay. Okay, well, and it's a webinar now. You can take it anytime you want.
You took our newest one here. You took your test 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks.
So yeah, I've been licensed 2 weeks.
So this is overwhelm time for you.
That's good.
Because you're like a sponge, but you don't know what you don't know. So you think because you passed that test, which was a heartbreaker for me. I mean, I sat in the car and cried after I passed it, It was overwhelming, So good for you. I hope this will be helpful. And there are lots of things here, and I'm mentoring Marilena, so we had a couple things she was asking me last night. I said, I don't think I'm going to tell you that tonight. I think I'm going to share that because that's a common.
She says, you're going to be bored tomorrow if I tell you all these things.
I know, yeah. So let's start with utilities. It might be easier for me to watch. This is so tiny here. Holy cow. Okay.
You can sit and talk from your computer. That's easier. 'Cause we're
Okay, I will. Oh yeah, I have my calendar time blocked and it's gonna keep buzzing. Sorry. Okay, so this is all your settings, and if you haven't explored these, you should just be clicking on them one after another to see what they do. If you want to have reminders, go to your Outlook calendar, your Google calendar, or your Apple calendar. This is the way to do it. And there are good instructions there. And there are a lot of videos within the CTM that are helpful too. So that was one. I didn't mean to click that. The thing about this Apple, come on. Okay. There are auto dating templates in here for your dates and deadlines. We used to do seven days for an objection, 10 days for a resolution, and 14 days for a termination. Not anymore. We can't do that in this market. We used to be able to do that even if we had a 30-day close, you knew that we could take that long. Not now. We have to move like lightning speed through the transaction.
Can you go through this? Because I think this will be helpful. Auto dating.
Maybe a practice
Can we
template.
fill out one and do one together?
Yeah, I haven't done one at all for. This is
I can
usually.
show mine if you want to. I have mine set up. If you want.
You'd have to come over here and get connected.
Oh, well, it's up to you guys.
Well, we can just walk
Whatever is
through it.
easy.
I mean,
That's fine.
so I'm just adding the days here. So here's a deadline. Let's just say this is 7 days. This is 10. This would be the old way. I'm just going to do what I know. So,
Can you make your 30-day has stuff?
huh?
Can you expand it a little?
I would love to.
Can we all get to this page? So
I don't know that I can. Let me see.
Utilities and then auto dating. So.
Yeah, we're talking about changing my view here. It is so tiny. Zoom in.
Oh, this one.
No, that's
So if I
better.
went to utilities and then down to auto dating templates. This will be a huge time saver. Yes,
I
like
also have
dates
30.
change, but you can use this template
That's about as
And
big as I
then-
can go.
if you have to change your closing date for an you can go through, but like when I started every single contract, I went through and filled each of these out.
I still do now because the market is so crazy.
Pardon?
But it's fast. I mean, because I do so many, after a while, it'll just happen.
So the number one, typically how many days would you guys say for earnest money?
I do 3.
2 to 3.
So if you haven't done one, let's
I want
walk
to give
through it.
everybody a big point around that because I just learned the really hard way on this. And it was probably my fault, or it is my fault because I assumed. But moving forward, I'm always going to do 3 days, but you have to go in and physically type in 3 business days because I had one go under contract on a Friday night.
No.
So 3 days was Monday. Well,
Oh,
title's not open on the
right.
weekend. We can't get wiring instructions. We can't do anything. And I just had it in my head that, okay, well, 3 days, like that's 3 business days. And unless you put business days, you're going to get bit on that. So
Yeah, so I'm always looking, I have a little calendar sitting on my desk so that I make sure that I skip over weekends.
Well, so it didn't fall on a weekend for me. It fell
Oh,
on a
fell in
Monday.
okay. But
So
I look at that,
should've
yeah, yeah.
Adjusted, or I should have typed in.
Well, that's how you learn.
business days.
That's how you learn.
Forward, it'll
Okay.
Because I just say 3 days MEC, and now I'm always going to say.
So
3
let's
business
talk
days.
about the seller's property disclosure, because I don't want to wait a week for that.
No.
That should be really filled out by the seller prior to going under contract. And eXp will tell you that. There's a couple other things too, but so I would say 4 days. Depending on your calendar, if weekends in there, you can't do that.
I just adjust mine to 2. do my auto dating, and then I'll go through the actual contract and move days by a day or two, so they fall on Tuesdays
Yeah.
and Thursdays only for me.
So let's talk about the loan, new loan. I see a lot of contracts come through that say complete. They've filled out the application, but it is not valid until the lender takes a look at the contract and compares it to what the application is. So you give that lender another 5 days for a new regardless. Don't put complete, because it's not.
Even if they're pre-approved and
Yep. Yeah. I end up calling the lender to make sure that they don't need any more time.
okay.
And sometimes they do.
And this happened to me this week. They changed lenders,
Yep.
so,
No, that is
which
definitely a
is
tough one.
legal.
Yes.
But then they still have to meet that deadline. So even if they have it all, put that deadline.
Yeah, then that deadline needs to change.
Because now we have to
5
wait when your
days?
appraisal coming in.
I give them 5, if it's on a Monday, I'll give them to the next Monday, so that's 7. But unless you're doing will extend to the next business day.
Yeah.
So I typically don't schedule anything in any contract on a weekend at all. I just skip over the weekend.
I do too.
So this auto dating may fall
Yeah, you
on.
sometimes have to go back
Yeah.
and shift once you
Yeah.
click save.
So I'm gonna save it for here. I don't want to go through the entire contract
It
here.
may be good though, because these are all new people, Terry.
I would say the dates recently have been my biggest win because I got 2 buyers under contract after some serious critical feedback from listing agents about my dates.
What did they
it was-
tell you?
They weren't tight enough. I was using MEC on certain lines, and like literally, I got accepted recently because I pretty much said I was going to get everything done in a week, which I did. And I'm not saying you have to do that with like obviously everything, but the agent was really impressed with how I wrote the offer, and so like this has been a big deal for me, and it's probably one of the most tedious parts of the contract.
Yeah.
It is,
I
and
don't mind spending a little bit of
and
time on it.
depending on what you're going for, I'm seeing a lot of contracts that are saying no inspection objection, but they put in a termination date. So they're having an inspection, and they're only going to call things to the attention that are,
Major health issues.
yes, health and safety.
Still need an objection if
But-
it's in health and safety.
Well, what happens is they don't do that, and then they can go back verbally, but they have the opportunity to terminate.
That's crazy.
I know. See, we just did one, didn't we, Marlene? Mm-hmm. Yeah, this buyer had been in, how many contracts have we done? I don't know either. It was crazy. I said, we got to win this. We're going to say no inspection. I don't like that, but we're going to do an inspection, but it's not going to be an objection that goes through. So there's a form for that with eXp, which is an inspection waiver. We're not waiving the inspection, but we're waiving the objection, so fine line. Okay, new loan termination, what do you think that should be?
I have 7. Wait, I have 7 days, so I have it closing. 7 days prior to closing is new loan.
Prior to closing, so this is,
closing bubble
this
check.
is not, yeah, so,
Not contract.
so assuming this is a 30-day contract, so we're gonna say 23 days? Okay?
So yeah, either 23 days from contract or 7 days closing. You can do it either way.
Yeah, but right here, this is,
Depending on your timing.
we're on MEC right here, so. Okay, so buyer's credit information, I've never seen a contract that has all that in it. So tell me a little bit about appraisals. This is a loaded question.
Depends on when the lender orders them
There's one other thing that's far more important than that,
and if it's VA, because we have no control.
or FHA.
Or FHA.
So right below, if you haven't seen this, right below the table of dates and deadlines, it says that if this is FHA or VA, appraisal dates do not apply because you can't tell the government when they're going to do an appraisal. That's how I interpret that. So you can put them in there, but they're meaningless. And I've gone in and done an AE, an amendment to remove that, because if the dates are on there and you've got an FHA or VA contract and you still have those dates in there, your contract is out of sync with what's going on. So don't put those in, leave them. And I've even typed in the line right in the date and deadline table, NA, FHA or VA, whatever loan. So, because a lot of agents don't know that. They don't read that line. It's right up tight at the bottom of the table. So, okay, so.
How many
So-
days for an appraisal if you guys typically put?
I have 17 days from contract.
At least. We'll take that. And so then, if you're just thinking about this, so now you've got an appraisal. The buyer is paying for that, so the buyer knows what the appraisal is, and it's not satisfactory. So how many days do you think it's going to take to clear that?
3. I usually give them 2 or 3 days to
It would go 3 days, so we're at 20. Come on.
So you said at least 17 days. What would the range be, 17 to 20 days, or?
And then 20 days for the objection, if I can get this to go down there. Come on, go.
20 days?
And it won't let me type it in. This
Do
is,
you not scroll through?
yeah, no. Oh, there it is, I'm going the wrong way. Woo. Okay, and how many days do you think it's gonna take to resolve it?
I do same day. I do objection and resolution on the same day.
Okay, I'll give you
I don't like
feedback on
dragging it
that.
out.
Yeah, let's go here.
Yeah,
So,
let's
like,
go.
I've dealt with some pretty sly realtors, so what they'll do is they'll send it to you like at 11:30 something at night. So
So you
then
got
you
like a
have
half
no
an
time,
hour?
so I would not recommend same day.
On
So-
anything or on appraisal
I mean,
only?
that's just rude, but like,
Yeah.
they're like, that way they don't have time to like.
So they only have till 11:59.
So
Everybody knows that. So when you start getting the buyer's agent or the seller's agent coming at you and say, where are the disclosures? Where's this? Where's that? The answer is, I have till 11:59 tonight, so give me a break.
And I've had some older clients too that just don't get to their computers that often.
Oh,
So you
I
have
have
to
one like
give
that right
yourself
now.
some wiggle room, so I would say at least a day for that one.
Oh, yeah, we do have an issue, don't we? Yes.
So 21,
Sweet, you just.
so 17, 20, and 21?
At least to 21. I would give it another day. Because, yeah, because you've got to work with you've got to put this objection out to the lender, who's going to go to the appraiser, and we've now got more people involved. So give it a couple days at least.
Yeah, I think like 2 to 3 days.
And this
Okay.
would be assuming the appraiser doesn't come back with,
Work orders.
yeah.
So, work orders. So this is more common in VA than anything. A lifted sidewalk, a loose banister, and then there are peeling paint. There's one spot, above the front door or something crazy like that. That all, a VA appraiser will come back and say, those have to be fixed before I will come out and review it and finalize the appraisal. I had one once that was a brand new house, and they didn't like the way it was slanted, the dirt was slanted away from the house. The builder did it.
Yep.
Wow.
I know.
For drainage.
Yep, and it was fine. Well, I mean, we just piled a little bit more rock in there, It was just crazy. So okay, ILC.
ILC 17.
Yeah, you got to give them time to get it done.
Has anyone had to get an ILC?
I know you have, I have.
We've had to with a lender.
Very random.
Yeah, the lender,
The survey, just so you guys know, the surveys are bloody expensive.
Yeah.
They ask you like thousands.
Yeah.
The ILC is about 400, 350 to 500.
When did you have an
It's the difference.
ILC?
On the Wasatch House, I had ILC.
Really?
And then by Patty Jewett.
Yep.
The property was
Yep.
7 feet into the neighbors. So it was on our end. But it had been there so long, it was fine.
Was it a conventional?
It was cash deal.
Interesting.
But just for
well, the
people-
title company will sometimes ask for it too.
Yeah.
So it can have, especially in these older homes. The newer homes, not so much. And most people just say, oh, no, I'm fine. I don't care if my fence is on the other guy's property.
So just, sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt you.
please.
What does ILC stand for? I'm sorry if I'm the only one who
Improvement
doesn't know
location
that.
certificate. What is it? Improvement location certificate.
It's like
Yeah.
a mini survey.
Yeah.
Looking for
Doesn't give
property
you as
corners.
So
much.
you, in old Colorado City, when they started doing, they weren't even doing lot and block. They were doing all that other stuff, and they, some garages or a corner is on the other person's property, and I mean, they're just some weird things in old Colorado City because they really didn't know what they were doing when they did all that. So that's the area that I think is, you've sold in there, haven't you? No? Well, just beware that that's an issue. Down Cheyenne Road, that one, I had an issue with that one time. And we had to get an agreement, an easement from the other neighbor. So, yeah. And,
How
yeah.
quick can you get an ILC done?
2 to 3 days.
Really?
Survey, a little,
So-
survey's like a pretty,
So they can get it pretty quick, because I just thought maybe they were so busy, they would, you know, get.
they're pretty good.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
So I would say that you would think that 1 day after the objection would be reasonable for a termination or a resolution, but I'd give it a couple more.
How quick did
I think I'm just gonna go with 17, 20, or 22
Yep,
on all those, to
yep,
keep them simple.
right. And that's what I would do too.
After acceptance?
It's rare. I mean,
2 weeks.
it is not something that happens a lot. Okay, inspection objection. How soon do you get your inspection?
Right away.
ASAP.
Right away.
So what's that mean?
Like within the first 3 days, 3 to 4 days, like as soon as we can get it.
If you can,
Really fast.
If you can get it in sooner.
you can get it in sooner, but I'd go 5 and try to get it sooner. You can always change that date because you can't get an inspector. But, yeah.
Yeah, and any of these dates, let's say like ILC, for like you, for some reason can't get it scheduled, then you just pick up the phone, call the agent and say like, hey, like, this is the soonest I can get someone. Would your client be okay signing an amendment? But you do need, any date you don't make, you need an amendment.
You need to cover it with a date.
Yeah. So
So let's talk about inspectors in the state of Colorado.
Yes.
Do you want to be an inspector?
I should
With
do
me?
it. I can do it
Okay,
today.
okay, let's go do
Let's go
it.
do it.
Yeah.
Because that's all it takes.
Okay. Colorado does not require that you be licensed. So
Is there a way
my
to be licensed?
feeling is, I don't trust that. So I make sure that my lists that I hand my buyers are, they're nationally licensed. And there are several in town. So I warn you about that because many are not. They take good photos, and they may have a report system, but
And
I
it
would,
well,
yeah,
but
yeah. So that's a warning. I mean, you can do what you want, but just a warning. So 5 days, and then what do you do with this? You know, the termination just came out a year ago.
On inspection, I do 7. If we're doing 5 for objection, I do 7 for termination.
And what do you do for resolution?
And I'm now switching that to 10 because you guys have got me all scared with resolution and termination on the same day. So we'll push it out.
I see that a lot, though, and that was even taught to us by, can't remember his name, Scott. Yeah, yeah. He said, just do your resolution and your termination the same day.
That's
But
my school.
Yeah. But you know what, what's a day? So what's a day, you know?
My family, we are a very busy family, so I would be pretty upset if it was 10 o'clock and they were like, you need to figure this out at 10 o'clock where I'm trying to get my kids in bed and trying to get ready for the next day. So I think definitely a few days for,
And you can make it whatever is comfortable to you, for you. This is not in stone.
And your clients and your inspector, like,
Okay, let's talk about property insurance. What does that mean?
Gotta make sure you can get that property insurance.
Who does?
The buyer.
And who follows up? Very
follows
few
up to
people.
see?
Very few people follow up on this. They don't, because they, you know, the buyer's agent, but the seller's agent should be saying, did you meet that deadline? And who is the insurance company? I mean, anybody can say, oh yeah, I did. And then, so then we mark it complete. I think you need to follow up on that.
Okay. Do you recommend trying to get it in writing? Like, yes, I got insurance.
Yeah, and I ask agents all the time to put something in writing. Yeah, and I'll talk about that too.
Seller
That's
doesn't care that much, right?
a lot of them will just say NA. They don't even put a date
They don't care,
there.
it's not their house anymore.
Yeah.
but you can run into issues with like the age of the roof or the type of home. I mean, all kinds of things can cause that insurance to be an issue. So typically,
Or the electrical panel.
So how many days do you give that?
I've been there.
On property, I do 21 days from contract, like, on property insurance.
See, I get it sooner. Because that, if they can't get the insurance they want, that's a termination issue. You could
Okay.
terminate on that.
Okay.
So you probably don't,
So
It's
you wanna do
another, it's
14 days?
another deadline that is one of those flags, you
you
know?
probably don't want to get to the appraisal then, of course.
No,
You can't even get insurance on.
yeah.
All right. So 14 days for insurance.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Okay.
So what about due diligence?
5 for delivery.
I would do it at the same, as the inspection deadline. Whoops.
I have a question on due diligence, depending on, like,
I rarely get anything. It's kind of a
well, like
broad
one of
deadline.
my clients brought me a big old box full of documents.
Yep.
And I'm like, do I scan all these babies? Like,
Oh, I
there's
just-
no way.
Well, I try to have due diligence ready for when the inspection's going to happen. Because the buyers are going to be there, the agent's going to be there, and they can spend their time looking through stuff. And to me, unless there are some issues with, well, the roof warranty is a good one, but if there are some property line, there's history, a long history of things that might have gone wrong. Some people keep that stuff and others just, don't know where it is. But anything they have is what you want.
So how do you legally say, hey, I've met that deadline? How do you prove, or like, do you send a document and have them sign it that says, hey, the due diligence documents are in the kitchen counter?
So
That's a
I
good
don't know.
question. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that there is a formal form to fill out.
I even asked Jess for like a list of what does due diligence include, and no one could ever give me a list. Like,
no, it's because it's whatever they have. A lot of people don't keep it. Yeah. So it's all the manuals for the appliances. Big deal. You can get those online now.
Right.
But
What I like asking for is past insurance claims, if they have information on that. And I say that because of a personal experience with a friend. They bought a house here, and the previous owners had a bunch of problems with water in the basement. They filed a claim, cashed the check, and never fixed the house. And they didn't disclose it when they sold the house, that they had past claims and didn't repair and all this stuff. And my friends ended up having to go through mediation and arbitration, and it was months and months and months of drama trying to get that sorted out because it hadn't been disclosed. And the previous sellers ended up getting in trouble for insurance fraud because they took the check and didn't repair. and it was
Do
a
you have things that
freaking
you put
nightmare.
in?
There are some, yeah.
I would
There-
recommend,
That's
all
all
you can
we
do is
can do when
ask.
we're writing
If
the
you don't
offer is
specify,
things that we would want to
maybe not gonna
see.
try and
So
give it
these are
to you,
things
but
that I've just over
because of
time.
that,
I know, that's a
You have
big,
something?
I
And I've
probably, I
gotten this
might,
from
I
other
might.
agents and
I might, I'd have to go in and look, and we're gonna talk about clauses too.
Yeah. 'Cause
So
this is-
I don't want to spend a lot more time on this because there's a whole lot more I came
Yes.
prepared to do,
Yes.
rather than
So
talk
it-
about contracts dated.
We need a contracts class.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
super quick, I have a paragraph that I include in the contract buy and sell for due diligence documents that
So
I,
I'm gonna skip over the rest of this because it's
Well, we're
gonna,
almost done. I feel like we should just finish through it.
Now, do you do an
If
objection
anything, Terry,
and,
we can do another class with you to get, you know, if we need more time to get through everything.
that's what I'm gonna do.
577?
Yeah, and nobody does an environmental inspection
yeah, I
termination.
do NA on those.
Yeah, that's what I do too, unless there's,
There's a landslide problem.
yeah, if you're, yeah, I've seen some sales recently from Gold Hill Mesa. But there's a big disclosure that they have
Train wreck.
about that, but still, I want to see that. I want to see all of that, because the whole west side is sliding. And there's a map, you can get a map that shows you where that slide is. I can't remember where, but somewhere there's a map. Do you remember, have you ever seen that map that shows the sliding area? That Peregrine is one of them.
I know you mentioned it.
Who does?
I almost wanted
I'll try to find
Oh, the title company may have that.
Yeah, I can look right now.
What's it called? What was the map called?
Oh, I
I'm
don't-
searching, I'm Google searching.
West side sliding.
I'll just do landslide
Yeah, okay.
map, okay.
Okay, we're gonna slip over this. ADA, that's another one we rarely see. But that should be fairly soon in the contract. Somebody that's ADA is gonna have to shop again. So we need to respect that and,
Explain ADA.
So who would you even hire to do that type of evaluation? I don't know anything about the ADA evaluation. I mean, who officially goes in a property and says it meets or doesn't meet?
I don't honestly know. I've never had to do it, but I've seen it in contracts and I don't know who does it.
I guess that'll be a phone call to Jess if or when I ever.
Or
get
chat.
into those.
Yeah, or chat, yeah. Conditional sale, okay, that one is a big no-no right now. We can't even
No one's
look at that.
gonna want to do
And that's why we see so many post-occupancy agreements.
Mm-hmm.
And they're giving them rent-free. It's just the craziest market.
Contracts class Tuesday.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, I was gonna say, that contracts class is really valuable.
It is.
oh, the eXp contracts
I
last,
don't recommend anybody get out, because there's agents that. have been
yeah, you should.
25 years.
That should be on your
get on there and
yep. You should be in that class every Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock.
That's why we changed the screen time.
Yeah.
It's valuable, it really is
I mean,
valuable.
because she mentions things that she sees come
Yeah,
through the
it's-
week and like,
and
it's
you're like-
very
It's
important
on
stuff that we
Tuesdays
need, because
in,
it's very,
the
like,
world.
so tedious.
Okay, so what about the lead-based paint termination? And what does that
Along
mean?
with the inspection, if it was built prior to 78.
It has to be, yeah,
Or
built,
78 or older, I should.
yeah. So, but why would you terminate for lead-based paint? Who?
If it hasn't been encapsulated, if there is still a
But a lot of buyers, I mean, a house that old has had several buyers, and they don't know.
They just have
So you'd have to test a chip of paint, right? So you've got to allow some time. If you want to do that, if you've got somebody who's environmentally crazy, I mean, I shouldn't say it that way, but if you do,
Crazy Terry.
so,
House where it
He was an
deal-
engineer.
Yeah, we had a house with Madalena where the guy wanted to get lead-based paint, and my client, the seller, was like, 100% there's lead-based. Like,
He said, give me the money and I'll tell you.
Like, don't pay $5.
okay, so what's the date? What's the date on this?
Every test that that house could get.
So if you know that you're going to have to get it tested, how much time do you want to give it?
Good question, I don't know.
I put like, this is probably wrong, but I put like 27 days, which you don't need. But if I ever need an out to a contract, somebody like,
You have an out with the loan termination,
Yeah, lots of
unless it's a cash deal.
but this is like a quick way, which is not, I hope I never have to use this, if somebody was like, put it.
I don't know that that's fair to the seller. That's really tight.
Yeah,
I
protects your client.
would do 20 as a rule. You can do whatever you want, yeah. We're going to skip over estoppel, okay. And the closing date typically is 30 days. Possession time is, typically I do funding and DOD.
Learned that one.
What'd you do?
DOD and successful funding.
Yes.
Huh.
So DOD is delivery of deed.
Hi.
So these are probably going to be the same. Acceptance date, that's for you. So that's it right now. Are we saving this? New template name. Oh, this is going to be lovely. Okay.
That's my account.
In the possession time box, you
Okay.
pre-type in.
So you would end up, that would populate, there's a place in the contract for you to add that in there. Okay.
One that the loan didn't fund until noon the next
If
day.
you do that, it does say MEC 3 days, but Zach, you were saying.
You can change the MEC in a contract.
You just physically type that in right here.
Yeah, in the
So-
possession time box.
Yeah, so when she clicks MEC up here,
We're going to go in
it'll
here.
filter based on what everyone signs, but if you click the MEC down here, which is what I was doing
Successful
before,
Uh-huh.
it'll just put in like 3 days after MEC or whatever.
So, but there is a place in the table where you can go in and see what your MEC date is, your mutual execution date. So you put that date in there, which is your acceptance date, and and you tell it to change all those MECs to dates.
Yeah, so this will change it to dates as long as
Yep.
you've got it.
Right.
That MEC box checked, not any of these ones.
I use
Oh.
the contract and closing bubbles.
Yeah, okay. So do I want to do a new contract? I'll do a new contract.
So if they say.
Yeah, I'd have to play with it.
Some of mine are
Easy
for
practice
contracts, some are
and
for
see how it
closing, it just depends.
dates.
Are we
Yeah,
doing a new
so-
contract? But
If I
I'm just
these,
pulling one up.
It'll literally type in 3 days after MEC.
So see this orange box right here? See this?
how you pull them into the
Yeah.
box.
Auto dating.
Yeah.
So,
And then the little drop down box up there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You
there
can
it
do
is.
different templates, so I have one for.
oh, is this mine? I just did T.
30.
Come
That
on.
would be a 30
Save
day.
and insert.
There it is. Well, where is it?
No, you didn't
Oh,
put insert.
save and, yeah.
Yeah, there, and then save it.
On the right hand side.
Save.
Oh, that's right. Okay. And so then I have to go back to, it didn't do it.
Oh, and then
Oh,
hit
you gotta
save.
put a
And then press
closing
save.
day in there, I think, too. You've got a contract day. You don't have a closing day
Okay, go to
picked.
save and insert.
Oh, I need a closing day. Jeez. Obviously, I don't do this much. Okay.
So just do 528, yeah, and then save and insert. Click save, no,
The
other
side,
one.
the other side.
Save and insert, right there.
I did.
And then press save. See at the top?
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I wanted to do, yeah.
Go to the right, up top right. There you go. No,
Oh, down.
Not done.
There's a little floppy disk.
this little thing here.
Oh, that's safe.
So tiny on your screen.
It's still not going in there. Oh, there, it didn't work.
And it did all new. Okay, we're going to go back. Save and insert. And then get out of it.
Did you click save and insert?
I did.
Does
I
it?
think you do have to pick a closing date.
Huh?
She did.
Oh, you did? Okay, sorry.
I put a date in there.
I don't know why. Well, I don't know.
That's weird.
That
Usually it would
is
just
strange.
autofill.
I know.
I'll play with it.
Let me do one. Let's go.
How
You're
about-
saying, so I need to go back and take out the MEC for all of the, in the middle, in between the dates and what the date is, and that will populate.
So typically, if I can get back to that contract,
That's my question too, because I've got.
Typically, if you see MEC right here, if you,
Press save and insert, it just goes in.
Mine does too.
so if you were to say MEC right here, yes, he's already in mine. And then, and you did that all the way down, you would have to, in the dates and deadlines table, you would have to say what the MEC is. And it would fill in the dates. So when I get a contract, let's see if I can find one.
Guys, on mine, when I put auto dating contract and picked mine, and then put insert, it inserted it. So I don't know if we maybe didn't save our template completely.
I'm looking at your contract here. Oh, it's the other agent's view the offer. This isn't going to be, no, you can't tell it from this. But typically, if you see a contract that has MEC plus 3 days for the alternative earnest money, that's usually the one. You just go in and put the date in above, and when you get to the dates and deadline table,
This is the template. Okay, so I should have filled these in.
and you would put the date in here. Do you see this area? You'd put whatever the acceptance date was. Where's the acceptance? 17. So I'm going to take this out.
So did we click all the MEC down the column? Is that what it's supposed to be?
No, you would put the date in here in this box of the acceptance date, and it would automatically, if you've done MEC plus 5, MEC plus 7.
I mean, in the template.
We didn't do our initial template like the plus 3, plus 5, plus 7 from MEC. We did that previous template based on
Well, I'm
contract.
talking about when we filled in all the little spots.
That's what I'm
Do
saying.
you guys have all of these?
So I think you checked the contract ones, which is why it's not populating. Is
No,
yours
it
checked on your
should still
template?
populate.
On mine, I do
There's a bunch of
MEC, which
different
not a ton of
ways
realtors do.
to do that.
Oh,
But
you're
sometimes
right.
we'll negotiate, or we won't actually because we lowball a ton of our offers because I work with investors a lot. So we may, Saturday may be the date I thought we would sign, but then it ends up being Monday. So I like it once they sign, then the contract, all the dates start. So it's 4 days after. That
Yeah.
makes sense. So I
Yeah,
like
save and
MEC,
insert
but I don't
works
see a
for
lot of
me.
people using that. So
So all of these should be checked MEC?
Not necessarily. I mean,
Because it won't let me save it unless
it will save. Mine's set up exactly like that.
It says
Because
I'm
you don't have
missing-
it, go back up to the top. You have to put in a contract date and a closing date.
So every time just I
No,
have to
for your
change this?
template, just pick if you're doing
Like
a
a
30-day,
30-day window.
just do May 1 to May 30th
Okay.
or something.
So
And
I
then
want to
you're always
move
gonna
on
have to-
because I did not
Yeah.
come prepared to do this.
That's fine.
I have a whole lot more that I think you'll find it
Perfect.
a lot more
Yeah,
interesting,
let's move
okay?
on. I'm good.
So I don't know if you're using this, but you should be.
Where are we?
This is where I'm inside a contract right now. This is the e-contract sheet.
can you show
Send
us
it
how you
out.
I'm going to tell you exactly how you get to this and why it's so important. Even if you're all digital, I keep a piece of paper handy. And this is the one I keep. So you would start in a fresh contract, you would start over here at closing MLS information. So did you see where I was there? Okay, so this is going to have the selling broker. This is for a contract to buy. This is Katrina's deal, and she had the buyer. Or the seller. You had the seller. No, you had the buyer, right? This is 83.
This is the pilot core one.
Oh, and this didn't change. I haven't changed this. I think I brought it with me. I was going to show how to do that. Okay, so
Then your dashboard looks like yours.
yeah, if you, it's free. It's something movement. It's independent something.
Movement mortgage, is that, you talking about a lender?
Yeah, there's another, yeah. I'm going to change, this is the one, she has a change in the lender. So, what?
Movement mortgage, if that's
No, it's,
the only mortgage.
yeah, I'd have to go in, so that was a good one to go into. Okay, let me go back to that contract. Come on.
This was helpful, this next, it's all the contact info. So like, obviously I have a TC, but I still communicate a lot with the agents. And if it's one spot to get, I don't have to go through emails, I don't have, you know. So she fills this out. What I found was, and I don't know why I struggle with this, but like, all the email addresses, then when it's like time to go send a document, she has like, they're all in the email template ready to go. I just have to pick, you know.
So let's just talk about something here. So, yeah, you can do some things in here that they don't tell you. So this is so you're going to fill in, if it isn't already, you're going to fill in the under contract date, the closing date, and the sold price. Quite often this form comes up with the list price, and we know that isn't valid anymore. So you have to change that, and then you select from the drop down what kind of loan it is, and then you put the MLS in here. And I haven't done that. Sorry. I don't know how we use that anyway. It doesn't populate any of our forms. I don't know what that's for, but I put it in there anyway. This one was an estate sale, and the lender is, the first lender is Zenith Home Loans. And then, but we're going to go in right now. I'm going to click on this, because that's always blank. It's always blank when you open up this form, because it doesn't know what lender you're going to use or what title company you're going to use. So in this case, we don't know what the company is. We just have his name and a phone number. He's local, good. Don't you do that? Okay. I'm going to put his first name in because it's pretty easy to find. Whoops. Yeah, that's it. I see I've done it. Okay, so now I'm going to search on it, and I get all these Justins. So now I'm looking for McDonald. I happen to know he's down here.
Yeah, she showed me that
This is
yesterday.
cool. Same with title, I'm assuming then too.
Oh, where is that?
McDonough, are you looking for?
Yeah, I am.
Up a little bit?
There it is, right here.
Yep.
Okay, and that's the right address. I knew it was something independent. So watch this, because I'm going to click on this, and now it's in there. This is going to populate the e-contact sheet. So another thing, I did the same thing with the database. Land Title has a jillion offices everywhere, and so I pulled up Land Title, and then I looked for Lisa, because she's the one that's going to qualify what office it is. But see this right here? There's another email address in here. I added this. I saw that she was bringing other people in, and I added all these in there.
Yeah, so Lisa's I love Land Title. I love people that pick up the phone, not like you get their secretary and then you get
So this email address really just had her name in it, but she has a team of people that are helping her, and I want them all to get copied every single time. And the reason that this is so important, I will show you that here. Where's the e-contract? So we've switched the lender. It was Zenith. That's populated now. And then I found out, days after we will go under contract, suddenly there's a TC that starts emailing me about stuff. And I'm going, I didn't even know you existed. I didn't tell her that, but. So now I added her, and the way I added her was down in this box. And it's way down at the bottom for transaction coordinator. I brought it up, I filled in what information I had that I needed. I don't care about the address. And she populated this box. Mine always populates because this is a TC account. My personal account is another another CTM. So this information is really important.
And then once you do this, like this is a little tedious, but once you do it, then anytime you send an email, all these people are going to show up at the bottom of the
I'm going to show you that in a second too, but I want to talk to you about this. So, so the seller is Katrina's client. I don't have his email. I mean, I have his email, but I don't have his work phone number or his cell phone, whatever. If it was available to me, she didn't want me calling him, see? So and fine, it's an estate. I don't know that I want to anyway. So I don't want to deal with it. But there are some, I mean, I found Teresa's number. So the way you get this, if for your client, is you go to the parent contract. It can be this, it can be, in this case, it's this one. And you go down and you can fill this information in after it's been signed. It doesn't impact the contract. You can fill in, I'm just gonna put this in here for fun. I'll just add a phone number, I'll get rid of it. I'm gonna save it.
I can give you the right ones.
No, it's okay, I don't need it.
Yeah, but we might forget later.
No, I'm gonna take it out right away. So, I promise you.
Don't worry.
Okay, so now we're gonna look at the e-contact sheet. There's his phone number.
And then
And it does nothing to the contract unless it's the wrong number.
and there's a box you check, which is there's a box you check on the contract, or it's already been.
I'm gonna show you that too.
Yeah.
Which says that do not display seller info. So this is in here for our sake, but nobody else is gonna
I
see
don't
it.
want the other people having my
Yeah.
seller's number.
So anyway, that's a trick.
That's a good one to save.
Yep. Okay, thank you, Katrina. Okay, so I'm looking at my list and it's, okay, so e-contact sheet. Okay, so this little box, this little thing up here, client's database, often gets ignored. It is really helpful to me if you were to do that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
It is client's database.
Okay.
That's what here, Terry, to learn from you.
Because I'm constantly having to say, I need the email and the phone number for your client. It asks for it in SkySlope, and title companies want it, and I'm having to go and waste my time asking where is it and waiting for it and making sure it's coming to me. So you can create a new client in here, and that's what the form looks like. Don't fill everything out. Just their name, their phone number, and their email is really all we need. But this is important. So that client that you have, do you have it in there?
Yeah, I put it in there.
Good girl. That was the right answer, and I didn't tell you, did I?
Mentor, I was like, you could get this dynamic person, or you could get somebody that helps you understand contracts, right? You know what I mean? Like,
So I'm not dynamic?
big as-
I have mine contact when I'm actually filling out the contract. When you put their name at the very top, there's a box on the right-hand side you can click, and it says Add to Client Database.
Yes.
Just right there without having to. have
Yeah,
to
but
go
then you just get the
back
name.
way.
You don't get anything
You have to
else.
type their name and phone number at the very bottom
Right,
where their
right.
signatures go.
Yep,
And that will save it
Yep.
into your contacts.
yeah.
And it's helpful, like, a lot of my clients are repeat, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't think that would be the case, but it is, so soon on, so then it's all in there. It's nice.
People buying stuff.
So I'm gonna go, how am I gonna do this email? Okay, this is gonna be helpful for your question. We're gonna email contracts out of here. We're not gonna do that, I promise. So I don't like the signature that is with me, so that CTM gives me. So I've created another one. And did you see where I clicked? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Template library.
Okay, there's my signature. Insert. So you can do this I mean, I have a jillion in here. In our situation, all TCs have to be added to the contracts. It's a disclosure that avoids sign crossing because all eXp TCs have to be licensed, and therefore I could steal your contract. But I'm not going to. Some of the things I've seen I don't want. So this is one of them. So this, you can go in here and get rid of all this, of course. You can do whatever you want, but if you, wherever you put your cursor is where it's going to land. If you have some disclosures, here's disclosures to clients. Typically, this is done in the beginning of the contract, so I go, congratulations. You've seen this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it though, so this is exciting.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I knew that.
Because I've done that. Well, yeah. Okay. So I have this all written out. I mean, all of a sudden you want your buyers or your sellers to sign all these, and they don't know what they're signing. So I do a definition of them and include that in the email.
I love that.
We'll send these out to you. If you guys are in the Mastermind Facebook group, I can copy these templates and send them out so you guys
You
have
can
some of
just
the
save them and
verbiage.
then just pick them.
I have this endless list of like stuff in a notepad
Yeah.
that I copy
Oops.
and paste from all the time.
But I was even thinking,
You know, I'll just get out of
Like
it.
my
who's written a ton
template
of
library
contracts
too.
recently as far as like buyers, right?
Buyers, yeah.
Like, there's always kind of like a distinct message I always send, like, hey, just put in an offer, these are the terms. Like, what if I had that template kind of in there because with the same buyer?
And okay, let me show you something else. When you're in here, you have an option to edit it. So let's say I've already introduced myself to this client, and all I want to do is send the disclosures. I'm going to go into disclosures and I'm going to edit it. And I'm going to take all this out, or I'm going to say, all I want to do is copy this and get it in there. So I copy, I get out of it. It's not going to let me get out of there. And I go back in here and paste it. So you can pull things out of your library that fit the need, but you know you have that content right there. It saves you a lot of time. Because to type this email, especially with what I do, it's way too much time. I just can't,
You don't have to
I
think
can't
that
do
I
that.
remember to
Yeah.
say such
So
and such.
let's go down and we're going to answer your question now.
Okay.
So when you have the buyer, I should get out of this contract.
Before you accidentally email something.
No, I just got at it, but I didn't save it. Okay, I gotta find a buyer here. I gotta find a buyer. Here's one. This is, this one just terminated, but we're gonna go in anyway. Okay, so here's a contract to buy. No, I want the seller. I guess I was in the right place anyway. Let's go back to that one. So when you have the seller, the contract, or the offer is going to come and be in this box. And so where was I going with this? This is about,
My question.
yes. So the offer comes, and it's going to come as a PDF. You can't do anything with it. So you load it into, down here, place this disclosure. This one's already there. We're going to go over here to Docs Management. And the offer should be, there it is right there. There's the offer. So you have some things that you need to send to your buyer. And how are you going to send disclosures and all that kind of thing that have come from the seller. Because the seller is the one that initiates the seller's property disclosure, the square foot disclosure, and what's the other one? Anyway, there's.
The source of water.
Yeah,
and all that
yeah, I don't do that.
Well, it's usually included in the
Yep,
property
yep,
disclosure.
okay.
but-
So you go to email contracts. This is what I want to show you. Down here at the bottom, so you've created your email. Now you're going to click on all the contracts. These are the ones that you have that this is the seller. See these boxes here? It says share and email. If you just click on that one and you're sending it and you want it to be signed, the signature boxes are not going to show. So if you have the seller or the buyer and you're trying to get signatures like the eXp disclosures, you need to make sure you click on both. And oh, by the way, there's a little video thing up here that shows you how to do this. But if you don't,
Who even knows what that symbol means?
so if you don't do that, the documents are going to arrive to the other party without signature boxes. And they can't sign.
So in my case,
I ran
I don't
into that. I
have
had
a
to
box for each of
resend it.
those. That's what I was trying to explain to you. I only have one.
I know,
The rest
so
of them
so
don't.
that's what I said. I wasn't in your contract, so I couldn't see that. But, so you have to go back to that agent and say, please share.
Share it.
The issue with this is that he's as new as you are and probably doesn't know how to do that. And I don't know if he has a mentor.
Oh, I've done it before.
So you're gonna get.
An
those
agent was
emails.
like, hey, I need you to share. And I'm like, okay, no big deal.
Yeah.
Share. But it's.
But you have to know where it is. How do I share, you know?
Yeah,
This is
it's
where
right
you always
here.
do it.
But you can go to the help in CTM. It's awesome. So we're not going to do this, of course. We're going to
Yeah,
stop.
if you ever have issues with CTM, you call them. They're so good about calling back. I mean, it's a pretty, like, you look at the program, it's like looks old school, but like, they're on it. It's neat.
If you haven't been in here, you can expand all of these menus by clicking on the plus. There's all kinds of stuff you can, I mean, every question you have is in there. Come on, get out of here. That. Okay, we're going to get out of this. Okay, so now you know. Okay. Okay, I think did I create a contract? I didn't save it probably. We're going to create a contract and we're going to go and do some clauses. I'll just do an exclusive right. It doesn't matter. We'll just go in here. So I may not have as many clauses for this as I do in my own personal one, but we're just going to show you. Anytime you see this over here in a box, you can click on this, and if you have added clauses, oh, I have a few. This is not where it's going to go. Well, let's get out of here and then go to additional provisions. Typically, clauses come in at additional provisions, but I have some for others. Additional provisions, where are we? 21, 30. Okay. Okay. So.
A bunch of those are, yeah, there's a bunch in there.
Some of them are Frascona, they're Frascona, the attorney, and they're way over the top. It's just over the top. So let's just look at this one. I'm going to plug this one in there.
Are these ones that are already in CTM?
These are mine. Well, some of them are. Some of them are mine. Okay. So this is an appraisal gap that I've been using. In the event that appraisal is less than the agreed upon purchase price of, but not less than the list price of, Buyer will bring cash to closing to make up the difference between da-da-da-da-da. You can leave off the next sentence if you want to, but I think it's helpful to know that if the appraised valuation is below the list price of, all parties shall have those rights specified in 6.2. So where do you go? Oh, what's that mean? Let's go back and look at that. Where are we here? Too fast. My eyes don't go that fast. This has to do with appraisal condition. It actually gives you the right to terminate, to place an objection, and a resolution, and at which time you would have to do an amendment to do that. You have to add those dates into your contract now and then exercise them. And I've seen that happening. So what this says is we all have the rights to negotiate or not, or object or terminate or what. So all of that goes into play. Otherwise, it looks like it's dead in the water, and I don't think it should be. So in that particular case, there's some others here. Where are we? 30. So I always say in capital letters, reference 6.2. Reference what you're trying to change in the contract so that it's real obvious. There are no guesses. Okay, so then I come down. That's probably going to be numbered 1, but I'm just going to grab it again here. What else would we put in there? Escalation clause. Well, let's just fill this puppy.
Wait, what contracts is that?
Oh, I'm playing around in yours. Okay, buyer agrees to pay up to X number of dollars above the highest offer received by the seller before the acceptance deadline of this contract to a maximum purchase price of $2 there. The listing agent and the sellers must provide proof of the highest offer in the event that escalation is exercised. I like to make them clear, as clear as you can be. What would the questions be? Well, where are we going to go after that appraisal isn't going to work? Is it just go away? No. And what do we do? How does the buyer find out what the highest offer was? He takes the agent's word? No. Send me a redacted contract with the names off of there, and keep the date up there, and let me know.
Because your interest is to protect your client. So I can show you one we just had on a contract where it was I read the appraisal gap and I was like, this doesn't really read well. So I rewrote it and I countered and rewrote it.
Was that Scatterbo?
Yeah,
Is that?
that one. I can show it to you guys, and you guys can tell me if you think it's clear. No, I have a question on that. Do you write those clauses, or are those already templates?
I have access to so many, because I see some that are not complete, and I have to let it go because by the time I get the contracts from the agents, they're already signed, and I'll go in and they don't see the need to do an amend on something that's already been accepted. So, okay.
So if you see a good clause, let's say you're in contract with someone, you see one you like, I would copy and paste it and then go add it to your.
And you can edit it if there's something in it you don't like. You just saw how to edit email or clauses. Clauses can be done the same way. So when you go in here, it looks very similar to the email templates, right? So you can edit it.
I was at the beach a couple weeks ago, and I think Zach was showing my clients a property, and I had to get them out
Here's a good one.
right away. So I just had Zach send me one. Well, what I should do is save that then into my clauses, so I don't have to
Here's another one that's
call him and be
good.
like, hey, can you help me out? I'm sitting on the beach, and I need to get this.
So let's say that you don't think an ILC is going to be needed, but the title company comes back and says, oh yeah, we need to have one. Come on, stay there. So we're going to reference that part in the contract, 9.1.1, improvement location certificate to be ordered only if required by the title company or the buyer's lender and paid for by the buyer or seller, whatever you want, only if required by the lender or title. And
That in 912 in the box. I say if required by title, seller will pay, if required by lender, buyer will pay. In 912, and I don't click seller or buyer, I put clear and say or, and type that out in the box.
Yep, you can
Not
slip,
additional
you can
provisions.
put it there, but I keep it in additional provisions, and I just say, see additional provisions.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, as you get more contracts and you see things that make sense to you with no, I mean, and we're not judges, but we have to be in that case. But keep your eye out for new ones that come to you and copy them, paste them in, maybe edit them, and so build your own library. I mean, this is quite an extensive library. Here's broker marketing. I don't know where this is going to go. This will be interesting.